Thailand 2030, the collapse timeline. What if the Thailand people knew 20 years ago no longer exists by 2030? Not because of war, not because of one giant disaster, but because of something slower, something harder to stop. Economic decay, factories leaving, tourism collapsing, farmers going bankrupt, foreign money disappearing, young people leaving for better opportunities abroad. And by the time most people realize what happened, it's already too late. Because countries rarely collapse overnight. They decline step by step, year by year, policy by policy. And tonight, we're going to walk through a darker scenario of what Thailand could look like by 2030 if current trends continue. Watch until the end, because the final stage of this timeline is something most people living there today are completely unprepared for. Part 1, 2026. The warning signs are already here. The strange thing about economic decline is that most people don't notice it at first. The malls are still open. The beaches are still full. The lights are still on. Life appears normal. But underneath the surface, the foundations are weakening. By 2026, Thailand is already showing signs of stress. Slowing economic growth. Weak exports. Rising household debt. Declining competitiveness. Pressure on tourism. And perhaps the biggest danger of all, a false sense of security. Because Thailand still looks successful. Bangkok still feels modern. Luxury condos are still being built. Tourists still arrive. But appearances can hide structural weakness. And slowly, the cracks begin to spread. Part 2, 2027, the factory exodus accelerates. By 2027, the manufacturing shift becomes impossible to ignore. For decades, Thailand was one of Asia's industrial giants. Cars, electronics, components. The country built its reputation as a reliable manufacturing hub. But the world changed. Vietnam kept modernizing. Indonesia became more aggressive. India started attracting global production. And Thailand? It started losing the race. Factories began quietly relocating, not all at once, just enough each year to slowly weaken the economy. One factory closes, another downsizes, another stops expanding. At first, politicians call it temporary, but then entire industrial zones begin slowing down. Workers start noticing fewer overtime hours, then layoffs begin. Young workers who once expected stable industrial jobs now face uncertainty. And foreign investors, they start asking a dangerous question. Why stay in Thailand when cheaper alternatives exist? That question changes everything. Part 3, 2027 to 2028. Tourism begins to break. Tourism was supposed to save everything. It always had before. After crises, after recessions, after political instability, tourists came back. But by 2027 and 2028, something changes. The competition becomes overwhelming. Vietnam offers lower costs, cleaner infrastructure in key areas, new experiences, aggressive tourism investment. Meanwhile, Thailand faces growing issues: rising hotel costs, taxi scams, safety concerns, overcrowding, aging infrastructure in tourist zones. At the same time, a global economic slowdown begins affecting international travel. Tourists start spending less. Luxury tourism weakens. Budget tourists look elsewhere. And suddenly, Thailand's tourism machine no longer grows fast enough to compensate for the problems elsewhere in the economy. This creates panic behind the scenes, because tourism wasn't just one sector. It supported restaurants, property markets, transportation, retail, entire cities. When tourism slows, entire ecosystems suffer. Part 4, 2028, the agricultural collapse. Now the crisis spreads into rural Thailand, and this part becomes devastating because millions of people still depend on farming. But by 2028, rice prices remain under pressure. Rubber farmers continue losing money. Sugarcane profits collapse further. And Thailand's competitors keep getting stronger. Vietnam produces cheaper rice. China dominates industrial agriculture. Technology improves yields elsewhere, but many Thai farmers remain trapped in older systems with rising costs. Fuel costs rise. Fertilizer costs rise. Labor becomes harder to find. and younger generations no longer want farm life. So what happens? Rural Thailand begins hollowing out. Young people leave villages, debt increases, family farms disappear, and something psychologically dangerous starts happening. People lose hope, because once farming stops being profitable, the social structure holding many rural communities together begins collapsing too. Part 5, 2028, the debt explosion. Now comes the next stage. Debt. Thailand already entered this decade with dangerously high household debt, but by 2028, the pressure becomes unbearable. Families who once relied on tourism income, factory wages, agricultural profits, now face declining income from all three directions at the same time, and debt doesn't disappear during slowdowns. It grows. People borrow to survive. Credit card balances rise, car loans default, personal loans increase, banks become more cautious, and once banks become cautious, credit dries up. That's when small businesses begin collapsing. Restaurants close, local shops disappear, property projects stop, and then something even worse happens. Consumer confidence collapses. People stop spending because they no longer believe tomorrow will be better. That psychological shift is incredibly dangerous because economies run on confidence. Part 6, 2028 to 2029. Foreigners start leaving. For decades, Thailand was one of the world's retirement capitals. Foreign retirees brought stable monthly income, foreign currency, property investment, long-term spending. But by 2028, that system starts weakening. Visa requirements become stricter. Financial reporting becomes more aggressive. Stories spread online about frozen bank accounts, visa uncertainty, insurance complications. Even if only some of those stories are true, fear spreads faster than facts, and retirees hate uncertainty, especially older retirees living on fixed incomes. So they begin exploring alternatives. Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Philippines, places where they feel more welcomed, more affordable, less restricted, and slowly, Thailand starts losing one of its most stable sources of foreign money. Not dramatically, quietly. One retiree leaves, then another. Then entire online communities begin discussing exit plans, and once momentum shifts, it becomes very difficult to reverse. Part 7, 2029, the property market stalls. This is where the slowdown starts becoming visible everywhere. By 2029, Thailand's property market begins stalling hard. Luxury condos no longer sell easily. Foreign buyers slow down. Developers stop launching major projects. And many investors suddenly realize something terrifying. Property prices do not always go up forever. Vacancy rates rise. Entire condo towers remain partially empty. Rental yields weaken. And because so much wealth was tied to property, the psychological impact becomes huge. People who once felt rich suddenly feel trapped. And when property slows, construction slows too. That means fewer jobs, less investment, lower spending, and the cycle accelerates. Part 8, 2029, the social shift. Now the mood of the country begins changing. This is the stage most governments fear, not economic collapse, loss of public optimism. Young people feel locked out of opportunity. Middle-class families struggle with debt. Rural communities weaken. Businesses lose confidence. And slowly, society becomes more divided. You start seeing growing frustration online, political anger, blame shifting, increased pessimism about the future. Because when economies stagnate for too long, people start searching for someone to blame. And this is where countries become unstable, not necessarily through revolution, but through cynicism, division, brain drain, declining trust in institutions. And once trust declines, recovery becomes far harder. Part 9, 2030. The regional power shift is complete. By 2030, the balance of power in Southeast Asia looks completely different. Vietnam is now seen as the rising industrial star. Indonesia dominates through scale and resources. The Philippines grows through demographics and outsourcing. And Thailand struggles to maintain relevance, not because it collapsed overnight, but because it failed to adapt fast enough. And this is the part most people never understand about economic decline. It's relative. A country can still function while falling behind everyone around it. That's the real danger. Part 10, the final stage, stagnation. By 2030, Thailand still exists. The beaches are still beautiful. Bangkok is still alive. But the energy feels different. The optimism is gone. Growth remains weak. Young talent continues leaving. Debt remains high. Tourism no longer dominates the region. And the country becomes trapped in a cycle of slow growth, aging population, weak productivity, falling competitiveness. This is not apocalypse. This is something more realistic. National stagnation. And historically, that can last decades. The big lesson. Now let's be clear. This is a darker scenario, not a prediction, but it's based on real trends happening today. And the lesson here is much bigger than Thailand, because many countries around the world are facing the same risks. Overdependence on tourism, rising debt, aging populations, falling competitiveness, weak productivity growth, and the countries that survive the next decade will be the ones that adapt fastest, because the global economy is changing rapidly. And in this new world, standing still is the same as moving backwards. So the real question is this: can Thailand change course before this timeline becomes reality? Because once long-term decline begins, reversing it becomes incredibly difficult. And by the time most people realize what's happening, the shift is already underway. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. This was Felix from Mindful Minds and Money. Stay awake, stay aware, and I'll see you in the next one.